Hello and welcome to the Clashing of Steel. Well, today Cavalry also needs a bit of help. I'm specifically talking about engagements where Cavalry catches some other Cavalry and often enough is just left to fight the other Cavalry alone. In many cases, even if the friendly spears or swordsmen or any type of infantry is nearby. You see me playing the Alexander with the Greece Cavalry. He is very specific with its playstyle. He can't stay engaged in an infantry fight, or even often enough in a cavalry fight. The only punch Alexander packs is of the impact damage, so in many cases even barbarians can overcome him. They just need to bait out the charges or act accordingly against them. So, as you see it here, the barbarian cavalry is trying to sneak through. But I don't plan to allow them to do so. Even though I do mess up with my charges a bit here, I am still rather viable holding them, because I have infantry coming to my aid. And because infantry can overpower them, they are probably realizing that they have to pull through or pull back. At first it appears that they still wanted to fight me. But after the infantries get closer, they realize that they have to go. They just can't withstand it. And that is actually the moment where I can do the most damage. They're trying to move through, they're not trying to fight me. Which means I have a higher chance of doing more damage towards them. And after they push through, I should actually charge after them if that is possible. That way we can even inflict more damage to the cavalry who has their back turned towards us. There are many of these engagements where infantry is fighting infantry, and cavalry could go around them and flank. There are less of these engagements where cavalry is fighting cavalry, perhaps more precisely holding the other cavalry in place. And if the melee infantry would just go and help, that could make a lot of difference. Even if they would make the opposing cavalry run away, the friendly cavalry could inflict enough damage for them to be significantly weakened. Of course there are many who come to the aid of these cavalries, but there are also those who ignore it, think that the cavalry should be fighting cavalry, in a pretty much equal battle or in uneven battle which the infantry could change. So if you see that your friendly cavalry could use some infantry help, try to support them, they will really appreciate it. And so will the infantries if there are any archers alive near the end of the match. Although many cavalries might actually not need that type of help, it is still better to help them, and by creating a situation where you or your team is dominating. And as a cavalry player you can also block out disengaging opponents. Let's say barbarians are trying to pull back from an engagement they know they cannot win. But you can swoop in from the side and put an end to their retreat. Even by holding them in place, it can be very viable. Because even if they target you or focus you, they are standing still and the infantries will get a go at them from the rear. And if they will be trying to push through or run away in some other direction, you can inflict damage upon them while they are retreating. Being it pretty much free damage, which is a lot more, and any charges will be really devastating. Cavalry isn't all about chasing archers or flanking engaged melee infantries. It is also about helping your infantries and using the mistakes that the opponents make against them. But then again, there are those specific moments when you don't want to use these tactics. For example, if you know that the archers are nearby, you might not want to risk holding enemies or flanking them. You might also want to make sure that there aren't any overwhelming troops nearby. Just like you saw here, I couldn't stay engaged, helping my friendlies finish off last infantries, because there were a lot of spears and swords coming in. So I had to play smart. Often enough, these engagements where you go after the spears aren't worth it. Because the moment they go phalanx, you suffer equal damage that you suffer to the stakes. There are many factors that depend on these engagements. First, or actually the best one, is that opponents make mistakes that you turn against them. Like they're coming in overly aggressively and they realize that they don't have a chance. That is probably the simplest and the best example that you can turn against them. Another is that there are already engaged infantries who realize that there are a lot of troops massing nearby. So they may try to pull away, cavalry or infantry. But as long as you can hold them and your spears or infantry know what to do, you can turn that situation for your advantage. So this was pretty much it. There are many ways you can use the cavalry to either hold your opponents, help your infantries catch enemy cavalries, but you also need the support of your friendlies. And that just doesn't stand for the infantries that are hoping for the cavalry to flank. Also, every now and then, cavalry requires some help. So realizing that your cavalry is holding another cavalry, for example, you can go and help them, and perhaps even destroy that cavalry. Or there are these other situations where your friendly cavalry may die if they are not supported. So try to support your friendly team members. That is the basic of teamwork. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.